All right, the picture on the screen now is the building we're talking about tonight. This is our headquarters of the Theosophical Society in America. The International Theosophical Society celebrated its 150th anniversary last year. The founders of the society, Madame Blavatsky and Colonel Olcott, and others, were meeting in her salon in New York City. Elena Petrovna Blavatsky and Colonel Henry Steele Olcott were interesting historical figures. She was the first Russian woman to become an American citizen. He was a Civil War veteran, a journalist, and attorney. Others who helped form the society included doctors, lawyers, ministers, writers, a piano manufacturer, a printer, and an inventor. They were curious, intelligent people seeking to explore the frontiers of knowledge. The main objectives of the new organization were to encourage brotherhood of all humanity, to engage in comparative study of religion, philosophy, and science, and to facilitate spiritual self-development. Freedom of thought is a guiding principle. After a few years in New York City, the headquarters of the International Society moved to India. The American Society initially remained in New York, but the headquarters moved to Chicago, then to Los Angeles, and back to Chicago, according to the preferences of the current president of the society. In 1925, that president was L.W. Rogers, an energetic lecturer, firebrand union leader, and a journalist who had set up headquarters in this house, 826 Oakdale Avenue in Chicago. The American Theosophical Society was a very active organization of several thousand members organized in local lodges across the country. Headquarters staff was responsible for managing the records of memberships in lodges, publishing books, pamphlets, and a monthly magazine, and organizing lecture tours. The Oakdale House became so crowded that staff members lamented they didn't know where to lay down a pencil. A desk was squeezed onto the landing of a staircase, and a visiting lecturer pitched his tent in the backyard. A very public search was initiated to find a new permanent location. Mayors and community leaders from all over the Midwest wrote to propose their towns as the future home of the society. And what were we looking for? We were searching for the quiet beauty and charm of the country, suitable for study and retreats, while maintaining proximity to the city, good mail service, excellent transportation, and attractive land available for purchase. Eventually, attractive farmland was purchased near the corner of Geneva Road and Main Street in Wheaton, just north of Wheaton. It wasn't Wheaton yet. The original plot purchased was about 10 acres. This view was toward the northwest, and the line of trees that you see is along Geneva Road. At the left are the greenhouses belonging to the Schefflers. This aerial view shows the original 10 acres plus a little more around the edges. This is from, I think, about 1975. What we found in Wheaton: affordable land, already subdivided, the interurban train line cost 90 cents to Chicago, and there were said to be 87 trains a day. History Wheaton historians will recognize the map of the Chicago, Aurora, and Elgin Railroad, and Wheaton is the major junction west of Chicago, where everything branches off. Wheaton also offered intercontinental rail transport to Los Angeles, San Francisco, Portland, and Seattle. There was really excellent postal service. Natural gas was available, which was not true everywhere. And swimming at the new Northside Park cost 25 cents for the pool. And downtown Wheaton featured its Wheaton Grand Theater and a great popcorn shop. The very first activity at this new site was to establish a grove of trees. The first tree planted on May 6, 1925 was a silver linden. The purchase of the land, building, and landscaping were entirely financed by donations and by bonds issued to members. There's never been any mortgage on this property. Here's a view from the northeast showing the trees, our new little maintenance shed, and our Fordson tractor. And by 1927, we can see at the northeast of the property that the grove was becoming well established. This barn and windmill were located about where Baker Square Restaurant used to be, which is now the Circle K gas station, car wash, and mini market. A prominent Chicago architect, Irving Kane Pond, was engaged to design the headquarters building. And this photo shows him at the left next to his brother, Alan Bartlett Pond. Their firm, Pond, Martin & Lloyd, submitted 2 designs. The Society's board of directors was divided about which design to choose. They consulted a New York theosophist and architect, Claude Bragdon, who is very well known in his own right. And Claude Bragdon gave the opinion that he preferred the asymmetrical design that you see here. We have some drawings by Irving Kane Pond. At the left is a rendering of the entire building. And in that drawing, it looks very much the way it does today. At the right is a proposal for the library, which turned out a little differently. A decorative and symbolic entryway was requested by the Theosophists, and Pond drew the conception at the left, entitled the Pylon Portal. At the right, you see the east elevation of the building and a longitudinal section which shows all the 4 levels of the building. Plans were finalized in 1926, and construction began. On August 29, 1926, the cornerstone was laid in a ceremony that was widely reported in newspapers, like this announcement in the Chicago Tribune's real estate pages. This is from 1 week earlier, announcing that the event was to take place. Several thousand people came to witness the laying of the cornerstone. Many arrived by train from Chicago. It was reported that 8 extra interurban trains were scheduled that day to accommodate the crowds. We are fortunate to have a film of the event, and that's available in full on our YouTube channel. Here you see the crowd arriving at the Wheaton station and moving on to buses that took them to the site. We almost saw an accident there. In this view of the crowd gathering, the people at the right are standing in what became the basement of the building. The tripod for lowering the cornerstone can just barely be seen in the top middle of the photo amidst the crowd. You see a white diagonal line going up toward the right, and that's part of the tripod. And another film. Laying the cornerstone was conducted by the international president, Annie Besant, who came from India for the event. It was a Masonic ceremony. This was a co-Masonic group of men and women together. Here you can see the cornerstone being moved into place. The tall man stepping forward now is the architect, Irving Kane Pond, inspecting the work of the Masons. This is a closer view of the stone. It contained a time capsule with this parchment signed by the Theosophical Society's international president, Annie Besant, plus several theosophical books and documents. And this is how the cornerstone looks now. Now this is the building site seen in 1926, viewed from the southeast. You can't see very many structures in this photograph, only plowed farm fields. Here is the construction site, viewed from the west. Construction was difficult in 1926, a very wet year. You can see boards were laid down throughout the site so that the workers and their wheelbarrows would not get bogged down. This is the front of the building in 1926, and again just before completion in 1927. That huge trench in front was for our connection to the new sewage system established by the Wheaton Sanitary District in 1925. I've always speculated that when the Theosophical Society had the sewer line laid so far north of Wheaton, of downtown Wheaton, that may have facilitated growth all along Main Street. This is the rear of the building, nearly completed. The white line of stone across the front is Wheaton Avenue. It ran along the west edge of the property until 1959, when we petitioned to have it vacated to reduce traffic. By then, we owned all the land along Wheaton Avenue from Geneva Road to Cole Street on the south. Architectural features are easy to see in this postcard view of the building, photographed around September 1927, shortly after completion of the construction. The exterior is a rose-colored brick and Bedford limestone with a tile roof. Tooth-like structures called dentils hang along the horizontal band courses of limestone. Those horizontal bands draw the eye along the length of the building, making it appear more massive. Many of the windows are highly decorative. This style has been called collegiate Gothic. The decorative windows and other elements also appear in Irving Kane Pond's designs for several college student union buildings. Here's the Michigan Union in 1919, and to the right is the Michigan League building. He and his brother Alan were graduates of the University of Michigan, so they dedicated some time to building projects on that campus. And here we have the Kansas Memorial Union, built in 1927, same year as our building was completed. And the Purdue Memorial Union, 1924, is shown at the right. Construction workers were still putting on the roof, as you can see from the ladder and materials supplies over at the left. But the Chicago Theosophists were eager to begin cleaning and moving in. The staff was able to move into the building in September, following a formal dedication ceremony on August 28, 1927. The post office asked what address the building should have. President L.W. Rogers said, well, how about 1926, the date the cornerstone was laid? And ever since then, the legal address has been 1926 North Main Street. The estate as a whole came to be called Olcott, named after one of our founding members, the Colonel Henry Steele Olcott. For many years, we received mail addressed simply to Olcott, Wheaton, Illinois. The arts and crafts movement influenced the building interiors, emphasizing use of high-quality natural materials and fine craftsmanship. Most of the rooms, like these offices, were simply accented with dark wood. But there were several areas that were much more elaborately decorated. One example is the meditation room, or shrine room. We do not have any photos of it from the 1920s, but this is how it has looked recently. This serene space is used only for meditation or meditation classes. Another example is the entry hall that was decorated with wooden panels, arches, an oriel window overlooking the space, and a balcony. In 1931 to 33, spectacular murals were added to all four walls, painted by Richard Blossom Farley. The story behind this is that a wealthy arts patron and theosophist, Georgine Wetherill Smith from Philadelphia, proposed immediately after construction was completed that the building must have murals decorating the entryway. Architect Pond insisted that that project had to wait a couple of years for the plaster to cure and the building to settle. But she didn't forget, and as soon as 2 years were up, she brought Mr. Farley from Philadelphia and began a fundraising campaign to support his work. He visited the campus a number of times. He measured all the very complex spaces of this room. Then he went back to his Philadelphia studio and painted these scenes on enormous strips of canvas. He returned to Wheaton to apply the canvas to the walls, and the work was finished in stages, finally ending in 1933. His designs represent physical, biological, and spiritual evolution. Here are a few more details from the murals: a sunburst, a thinking ape, and the evolution of the mastodon. You can spend hours looking at these murals. It really takes a while to absorb all the different concepts that are presented here. Another decorative space is the Henry S. Olcott Memorial Library, with fireplace, recessed ceiling, and beautifully crafted paneling. Often visitors comment that it looks like it comes from the Harry Potter books or Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This is a research library that lends materials to members and to the general public through the SWAN Library Consortium that includes over 100 local libraries. Using the Internet Interlibrary Loan System, it has shipped materials to university libraries in every state. And returning to the 1920s, here's the staff in the new dining room. This is a vegetarian campus, always has been. And over the years, staff members have produced their own vegetables, fruits, strawberries, grapes, and honey. And for everyone who likes to see mechanical systems, this is our furnace room. The boilers used oil as fuel until World War II, when one of them was converted to coal. You can still see the coal chute just by the west door of the building. The Main Street entrance to our estate was made more welcoming in 1940 with addition of this graceful arch designed by architect Claude Bragdon. This is how Main Street looked in 1940, and in a similar view in 2008. The arch is a little hard to see in the 1940 photo, but it's there, tucked between trees. Then, in 1989, construction began to accommodate turn lanes for the Willows of Wheaton and the Wheaton Eye Clinic that are across the street from us to the east. This was a complex project involving sewer and electrical lines, asphalt and concrete removal and replacement. Several large trees were relocated, and so was the arch. If anyone is interested, we have several hundred photos of the process in 1889. Over the years, our property has expanded from the original 10 acres to about 40 acres through donations and a few purchases. This 1975 aerial photo shows almost all the campus, that it fills almost the entire frame. In 1962 and 63, the south end of the Rogers Building was extended by 19 feet to increase the size of our research library. The original decorative window was moved due south as architect Lillian Leonhoots of Milwaukee was attempting to keep the style of the extension consistent with Pond's original design. To accommodate the Theosophical Publishing House, the Mills Building was built in 1969, housing offices and a shipping department. It also provides a home for Quest Bookshop at 306 Geneva Road, which offers a wide range of books, cards, crystals, and other gift items. You may have noticed on the table out here there were some coupons available for Quest Bookshop. A warehouse was added to store the books that we were publishing. Various maintenance buildings and garages were also added to the estate over the years. Then, 1997, an elevator shaft was added to the Rogers building in accordance with the Americans with Disabilities Act, providing improved access to all 4 levels. As you can see, great care was made to match the style of brick and limestone details, and Ivy quickly adopted the new structure. Last year, our cherished L.W. Rogers building was recognized as architecturally significant when it was listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Now, my colleague Alex will take over.
The Theosophical Society's always cooperative relationship with the city of Wheaton was solidified in 1966 when the headquarters estate was finally annexed. Over the decades, we have worked with many local businesses. It was the J.R. Wheaton Company that built our entrance arch. F.E. Wheaton and Company installed windows in 1942, and Bird Cartage sealed our asphalt. And of course, we have turned to Carlson for many decades for paint, windows, shades, glass, hardware, and art supplies. We have always worked with other nonprofit organizations. When taverns and a gambling house were proposed for the corner of Geneva and Main in 1949, we notified Wheaton College President Dr. V.R. Edman, as in Edman Chapel, and worked together to prevent it. During periods when the city of Wheaton was considering expansion of its boundaries or its water and sanitation services, we discussed our concerns with neighboring institutions like Mary Polk School, a sanitarium for children with special needs. For many years, we sponsored Boy Scout Troop 38. In 1933, they participated in the National Nut Tree Planting Project. Nuts were gathered at national shrines such as Arlington National Cemetery and Mount Vernon in the Department of Agriculture program, and sent to local scouts like the Troop 38 to be planted and distributed to the community. Humanitarian Service Project, now located at Large Carroll Stream facility, was founded by Carol and Floyd Kettering, members of the Theosophical Society, working out from our warehouse initially. It has grown into a major social services agency providing regular food deliveries to seniors, school supplies, summer meals, and gifts for children. In 2009, our staff worked with the environmental group SCARES to implement improvements to our recycling and composting on campus. After a series of training sessions, policy changes, and service projects, we were presented with the Earth flag that still hangs proudly on our flagpole. Prairie School of DuPage has leased space in our building for about 12 years. Classes are offered from preschool through middle school, and the emphasis on nature education makes good use of our grounds. Sustain DuPage is a nonprofit and environmental group engaged in many projects. They maintain a large innovative vegetable garden adjacent to gardens maintained by Prairie School and community garden plots of staff members. Our grounds are effectively another Wheaton Park, open dawn to dusk every day. The general public is welcome to visit. Since our first tree was planted in 1925, we have planted many trees and developed the grounds in other ways. For a long while, a stream ran across the front lawn, and we used large rocks to form water features like a water lily pool north of the headquarter building. And sometimes in 1940s, Geneva Road was repaved, and the water table was affected. We lost the source of water for our pool, but remnants of it can still be seen. And sometimes a heavy rain will recreate the stream running across the front lawn. In 1952 and 53, our president, James S. Perkins, excavated a low area on the estate to create what is now known as the Perkins Pond. Here's the picture of him with the grounds crew. As you might expect, the pond is home for fish, frogs, geese, and ducks. A labyrinth in the classical Seventh Circuit Cretan style was built in 1998, and is enjoyed by many people who walk it as a meditative practice. Nearby is a large stone fire pit that is often used for drumming circles and other gatherings. The Prairie School has used it to make maple syrup. The Garden of Remembrance is a peaceful area where ashes are interred from time to time. People visit to remember their loved ones, or sometimes just sit there on a bench and enjoy the serenity of the space. Two of the other quiet meditative areas on campus are a Buddha statue to the north of the main building and the Mother Mary statue just west of the parking lot. The grounds have changed greatly from the plowed fields we found here initially. Gardens and trees have been added and removed. In 2007, we lost from 80 to 90 trees in a tornado, and shortly afterwards, a derecho wind did even more damage. We are very grateful that no one was injured, and there was no property damage except for the fall of our original flagpole. We have always planted more trees, working with Bartlett Tree Service, Commonwealth Edison, and individual donors. Last week, on May 5th, we added 32 more. Morton Arboretum became our mentor in developing the campus as an arboretum. Our Olcott Arboretum is now recognized by the international group ArbNet. And this year, we hope be upgraded from level 1 to level 2 arboretum. That means we will have identified, geolocated, and labeled at least 100 different varieties of trees and shrubs. And here's one of many planting events. Our love of trees fits right into Wheaton and its recognition as the Tree City, USA. And what is the Theosophical Society headquarters doing now with all the infrastructure we have just described? We present a wide range of public programs year-round, such as lectures, classes, tours, labyrinth walks, concerts, and interfaith gatherings. Local astronomers have gathered to share their telescopes. Events are posted on our website and social media and on the electronic sign at the Geneva Road entrance. Program flyers and literature are available in the Rogers Building main hall and at the entrance to the Quest bookshop. This is our auditorium on the third floor of the building, where we hold lectures, workshops, and classes such as yoga and Tai Chi. We offer programs in person, online, and in the hybrid format. Special events that we have sponsored on campus or elsewhere have included retreats, workshops, lectures, and conferences. Most years we have held an annual convention, sometimes combined with worker training or a summer school. There have been weddings and memorial services. We have hosted elder hostel classes, therapeutic touch training, yoga teacher training, and PTSD workshops for veterans. We have held campouts and other events for children, including Earth camps, using the curriculum of John Denver's WinStar Foundation. Our very first big event for our members was the summer school in 1929. For the first 90 or 30 years, our visitors were often housed in a network of Wheaton area homes, since no hotels were nearby. And huge tents were set up for convention programs and dining. This one is from 1947. As for our public special events, each year we host a celebration of World Tai Chi and Qigong Day. And one unique event that we brought to Wheaton was in 1981, when the Dalai Lama stayed at our campus for 2 days. He gave a public lecture at Wheaton North High School, and that might make it the only high school in the world where he has spoken. Throughout the year, we offer tours of our buildings and grounds. The next one is scheduled on June 13th at 1 p.m., as listed with our programs on our website. It is also possible for groups to arrange customized tours by contacting info@theosophical.org. Some visitors enjoy exploring the art displayed throughout our building and sculptures on the grounds. Members have donated many pieces of art in a wide range of styles and formats. Our art collection could justify a whole lecture in itself. On the first Saturday after Labor Day in September, we hold a large event called Theosophy, with free activities and lectures, vegetarian food stalls, and vendors. There are always activities for children like crafts and face painting. This year it will be held on September 12th from 10 to 5. And this is a short promotional video for last year's event. And here is the sampling of activities. And there is one final event to mention. On Saturday, August 29th, we will be holding an open house on the actual anniversary of laying the cornerstone. We will offer tours, refreshments, displays of architectural drawings, and some very unusual artifacts, and lectures about the architect. We are inviting many from Chicago area architectural groups, as well as interested people from Wheaton area. Please watch for announcements and join our celebration on that day. For more information about the Theosophical Society, here are some contacts and suggested resources, such as social media, our website, and the info@theosophical.org as the main email to contact. And finally, we are grateful to the Wheaton Public Library and the Wheaton Historic Commission for their hospitality and this opportunity. It has been a pleasure working with you. And if there is any questions, we will be glad to answer them. Thank you.
Very good speech. I appreciate it. It was well, gave a lot of good history and background. So I'm from out of town. I don't know much about it. I'm just wondering, so Theosophical, or I'm not even sure how to pronounce it, but is there a root basis here for some type of religious belief, or is this just an open forum for free expression, or how would you summarize, 50 words or less, your philosophy or membership, or how does it work? Thank you.
I have to wait for the microphone. You got me, Steve? Okay. The Theosophical Society is a fraternal and educational organization, I would say much more than religious, although I suppose in some members' lives, it serves the same function that belonging to a religious organization would serve. But there's no clergy, no dogma, no required beliefs. We do ask our members to affirm that they are in accord with our three main objectives of seeking the brotherhood, the universal brotherhood of humanity, and studying comparative religion, science, and philosophy, and exploring spiritual self-transformation. So most of our members, I would say, belong to specific religions of their own. I was raised Methodist, Alex was raised Catholic, and we have had staff members who are Buddhist and Hindu and all kinds of different things. The International Society is located all over the world, every continent, except maybe Antarctica. So it's not a huge organization, but it has been fairly influential in the history of thought in this country and around the world. A lot of the terminology that you can hear every day now was not common when we were formed. Words like reincarnation and karma, auras, things like that, people had not heard of before. So we help disseminate information about a lot of these concepts. Does that answer your question?
How is it supported, or what means is used to build support, financial support?
The question was how we are supported. This is a membership-based organization, so members pay an annual fee to participate. There's also by now some degree of trust fund supporting some of our activities after generous people have left us money. And of course, some of our activities like programs and classes do generate a certain income as well. And we've sold books and things like that over the years.
Okay, here's another question.
My question was actually very similar. I was wondering what the requirements of membership are then and now.
The requirements of membership.
I'd say I already explained that we want members to be in accord with our three basic objects of the society. And then there's payment of some amount of membership fee, which varies quite a bit. There's several different options. So if you have detailed questions about membership, we have actually our membership coordinators in the audience here, so we could corner her if we need to.
Can you tell us more about the library? Like how many books, what types of books?
Can you hear me with mic? No. Okay, I'll have to talk real close to you. Yeah, if you.
Use mine.
Yes, if you
I can
can.
bring up this.
I don't know which one.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
The microphones are complex here.
Yes, about the library, we have about like between 20 and 30,000 books in the library. Mostly it's on the topics of religion, philosophy, and science, as we explained that's what we're interested in and finding common ground between. So nowadays, some of the topics they call like mind, body, and spirit, also like area. And they include philosophies from the east part of the world, philosophies and mysticism from the west. We're very interested in Christian mysticism, great collection there, great collection on all these Hindu traditions, and all over the world, especially spiritual traditions. The library has also like the rare book collection and special collections, which is used by the scholars that come visit us sometimes, like from the other sides of the country. And technically, the library is open to anyone, some not even members. Members of the public library system can request books to interlibrary loan or the Swan Consortium. But at the same time, you may just be able to come in when the library is open and enjoy the library, visiting, studying. Some people come just for a few hours to stay there and read books on campus. People can be members of the library without being members of the society. It's also an option. And yeah, that's probably all I can say. If you have any other specific questions about the library, I'll be happy to add more.
Any other questions? I have one.
I know you started out with an original 10 acres. How many acres do you currently own? I mean, how big is the land of the Theosophical Society?
It's about 40 or 41 acres now.
Okay, any other questions? Well, you have one last moment to think. We are going to be sending out an email tonight with a number of resources to the Wheaton Historic Commission, as well as a lot of the resources provided by the Theosophical Society. You will receive a second email from me with the direct link to the recording, and so anyone who's watching just the recording can get that list of resources from the library by contacting ce@wheatonlibrary.org. That's CE for Community Engagement @wheatonlibrary.org. And we had a chance to think of another question.
I've seen that there are a couple of houses on the property. Who lives there?
There are six houses on the property, and mostly occupied by staff members. Yeah. Some of them are interesting in themselves. There's a Sears Roebuck Kit House. That one's at the corner of Main Street and Cole, and it usually has a sign that the Historic Commission puts out in their History Week.
I think there was one more question.
Good evening. I noticed that you said that there aren't any clergy or any, but do you have a president or do you have a board of directors or how is it run?
We have both those. It's a nonprofit corporation. We have a president, vice president, board of directors, all the usual nonprofit kinds of things. Yeah.
And do you draw people from all over the suburbs? Or?
Our board of directors is, we have 6 board members who come from 3 different districts in the country. So we have people from the East Coast, the Midwest, and the West Coast.
All right, well, thank you so very much, and I know that you'll stay if there are additional questions.
Absolutely, we'll come
All right.
around.
Thank you so much.